The holidays are bustling with activity. Handle it all with Happy Honda Days. Bringing skis to the cabin? The Honda CR-V and HR-V make it easy. Take on the season with financing as low as 0.9% APR on the 2020 CR-V and as low as 1.9% APR on the 2021 HR-V on select models for well-qualified buyers.
See dealer for financing details.
Your product, faced with hard luck. Face with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Your product, faced with hard luck. Face with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Hard Luck Show. I'm a qualified, certified, West Side host, Steve Lucky Luciano. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you've tuned into the greatest show on earth. It's the Hard Luck Show.
Hard Luck Show.
Coming at you live from the bumper. Come on.
Yeah, so welcome to part 2 of the Darren Craig extravaganza. Now, what you're going to be treated to is some fucking hilarity and some scarcity, and don't have too much temerity, because King Salmon exclusives are going to be all at the end of this thing.
All over this thing.
We also get a lot of other discussions about artists, what Darren's approach to photography is. Listen, you got to hear King Salmon talk. Anyway, we've gone longer than the fuck. Just listen to the show.
Right. Here it is.
And now, there's a million different types of people telling you what culture is and what's cool. And then you have more of a choice and have to pick, okay, well, what's that say about me? Or, what does liking this say about me? What does this shirt say about me? And, and you can look into that in various ways. And again, this is all based on people that are concerned with these things.
Sean's got a question.
No, I was going to say,
I gotta take a piss.
Chu and I were talking right before this, and we were talking about Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
And super familiar voice, for any of us who grew up in the 80s, 90s. And I was saying there's nothing like that anymore. Like, there's nothing where Casey Kasem, it comes on and like 90% of the people that grew up during that time would immediately recognize him. I don't think there's anyone who's sort of penetrated the culture in that way now, because it's so fragmented. You have so many different microcosms of...
Yeah, there's 50,000 Casey Kasem. Right,
but there's no one who's penetrated all of the culture to the same degree. Would you agree?
No, not maybe, unless I would say in a different way, but the only thing I think of is maybe somebody like a Donald Trump.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately.
Right. Is like somebody that everybody knows, that everybody's paid attention to in some level. But that's the thing is, so now, like you said, it's so fragmented and there's so many different choices of who to listen to and access, that it's really made things much different. It's changed where, even artists like musicians, they don't get as big as they used to get.
Right.
So true.
Because there's so many of them, and there can be an artist that's massive in one genre of music, and people from the other genre may never even heard of this person.
Right.
Yet they're still succeeding on a massive level.
I was thinking about that because I was watching the documentary about the BeeGees on HBO Max, and I was thinking about the BeeGees, and I'm like looking at the world that they inhabited and how big they must have been for the time period at which they were super popular. I mean, They were saying, okay, so, you know, and I wasn't even aware that there was kind of like two phases of BeeGees. There was kind of like the Beatles BeeGees, and then there was the disco BeeGees. And I didn't know that. So I'm watching this, and that's blowing my mind. Then I didn't know that that falsetto didn't come about until disco BeeGees, when they were working with like Alfie Martin or whatever. That's the name of the producer that worked with
Swedish dude, yeah.
And that dude, right, worked with all of the like major black acts, and the BeeGees wanted like something like that. They'd like the soulful whatever. So, and in this documentary, the BeeGees are sitting there and they're putting together this new shit, and it's going really well. And then in one of the songs, this guy, you know, Mr. Martin or whatever his name is, he says, now we need something emotional in the background, some fucking ad lib or whatever to carry the emotion of the song. So one of the dudes, one of the BeeGees, thinking it was Charlie Gibbs or somebody, said, I'll give it a shot. He goes back there and out of the blue, he hits that falsetto that becomes their signature sound. When he walked out of the thing, out of the recording booth, it was like stone cold silent everywhere else. And they knew that they had a new emotional signature sound, and that carried its way all the way into like Staying Alive and all that other shit. But what I was thinking about was like, how big was that hit Staying Alive when there's no internet and it's on a movie and John Travolta's the guy dancing to the song? Think about that.
Yeah, but without that movie, without that cosign of somebody they're already familiar with and love, that could just sound like a dude squealing. You know what I mean? Like, and that's still the same today, right? So like, it's about context and cosign still, because like some of the, like, look at hip hop, right? Like the current state of hip hop. Some of it is, I mean,
it's depressing.
It's insane. It's like, it's the most ridiculous sounding bullshit that you've ever heard. And if like a random like drunk hobo came and handed you a burned CDR and if that played, that would sound about right.
Right.
But as soon as like it's co-signed by a certain person, it's put in a certain context.
Right. Snoop.
It's now massive.
Snoop,
right?
Snoop says he's working with you, brings you under his auspices in a certain way. That's a big enough cosign. Is Dr. Dre still a good cosign?
Hell yeah.
I mean,
no.
Yeah. But in a different way. You know, those dudes are obviously a lot older, and they're complaining about shit in the same way that probably we all are, like where they just laugh at it, and they've become more of a personality. I mean, Dre's kind of, he's after that Beats sale.
Yeah.
He's chilling. He's a billionaire now. He doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
But you know, but you look at, you know, Dre introduced Eminem to the world.
Right.
And that worked at the time. And that was a big enough cosign. But now it's different. Now it's like there's certain like YouTubers that could probably get a song off quicker
like
than
Kenny Beats or something.
Yeah. Or like No Jumper, right? Which is like the big YouTube, like hip hop thing. It's like, you know, a goofy white dude looks like me or something, like that interviews rappers and talks to rappers. And if you are an up and coming artist and you go on No Jumper or like Lyrical Lemonade or one of these things,
right,
that's an automatic couple million spins. You know what I mean? And so, or if you end up on one of these playlists like Rap Caviar on Spotify, or New Music Friday, these are the new cosigns, right? Where it's like, damn, this must be something I'm supposed to be paying attention to, because this guy who now everybody respects his taste and his how he's curating.
Right. Curator culture.
Yeah. It's like, that's all it is like, you know, I mean, you got to look at it too. It's like some of the biggest people in fashion, you know, right now came from like, so Virgil Abloh, who was Kanye's creative director, you know, he's now the creative director of Louis Vuitton. Like, and that was 100% based on his contribution to culture. And because hip hop culture and quote unquote urban culture,
right,
has become pop culture. Like, it's not hip hop culture anymore. It's not urban. It's pop culture.
Right.
And like, you know, there's a reason why like that now infiltrates absolutely everything. There's a reason like why, you know, there's little kids like twerking on TikTok and shit right now.
Right. That means it's fully embraced.
Yeah, exactly.
And at that level, right? So at that level, it stops. And I mean, I guess when you're dealing in the systems that we have now, all the rebellious or the anti-establishment style, whatever that is, first is not adopted by anyone except for people who are really trying to do something. Then there's early adopters who see something in it. And by the time it makes it into full scale, this is just culture now. It's no longer anti-establishment. It's been absorbed. So the question to you, my friend, is where are we going? What would be the new anti-establishment thing that we should look out for? What's really anti-establishment? Let's just get down to it. What the fuck? What the fuck is?
I read about these. There's like this like subculture of teenagers that are like, and I don't know that this will catch on, but it was interesting to see. There's like this subculture of teenagers that are renouncing social media, right? Because they feel that that humans have become a product, and that, you know, their privacy, all their likes and interests are being, you know, commodified, like all. And so they've all like deleted all of their social media, and that's started to become this its own little sort of subculture of kids, right? And that's really interesting to me, because they're basically going against vanity, narcissism, all the things that people now are, you know, judge each other by. How many followers are they? Verified? Are they this? Are they that? Like, they've removed all of that, right? And we don't even really know about them because they're not on social media or any of these things. We don't really have any access. So that could make it just die out and not be a thing that nobody gives a shit about.
Right.
Or maybe it's something that happens that, like, because that's the true rebellion for a kid. If you're 15 right now, like, that's the craziest thing you could do is not be on TikTok or any of these things, right?
Certainly the other kids at school wouldn't understand it, and they would be like, fuck that.
Yeah, because if you think about it, all the things that we were about, or I speak for myself, as a kid, like are now mainstream culture, right? So like, you know, being like an extreme left-wing, like liberal, or like, you know, inclusion. I remember like in high school, I was the defender of like the 2 gay kids in school,
right? Just
because like I thought it was whacked that the hillbillies and the fucking jocks and shit were fucking with them. I saw part of myself in them, so I took up for them. You know what I mean? But now you're a weirdo if you're not accepting of that, right?
Yeah, and I was just telling Steve, even conspiracy theories, if you're the type of person that doesn't have a conspiracy theory, now you're the weirdo. Right? Like if you take something at face value, you're fucked up. If you have a conspiracy theory, doesn't matter what it is, just as long as you got one, then you're normal. Yeah, well, it goes back to identity shit, right? It's like people look at now that being a big part of their identity. You know, the people that are like, do your own research, people, like fucking assholes, right? Like they're just like, somehow they think that sets them apart from everybody else. And it's so weird to me how it happens to be all the most dysfunctional fucking assholes I grew up with that are like this for some reason. Right. They're the ones doing research that no one else is doing. They figured out a secret that no one else has figured out. Yeah. They couldn't figure out how to have a goddamn job for the last 30 years. But like they've somehow cracked the entire, you know, all the movements of the modern Illuminati. Right. Through like, some strange access of the dark web that only they know about.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy. In their version of the dark web is called YouTube.
Right. And they're listening to two doctors in an emergency care in Bakersfield, and they've got the truth.
Darren, I want to get I want to get kind of an idea of where you're coming from on some things. Answer a couple questions for me.
Sure.
First off, give me your top 3 favorite films.
Top 3 favorite films?
Mm-hmm.
My number 1 favorite film of all time would be Gummo by Harmony Korine.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It was a weird ass movie.
What about Valley Girl?
I do like Valley Girl. I don't think it would make my top 3. But you know, when I saw Gummo in 1996, it came out. That really opened my eyes about film, and like it made it accessible to somebody like me. And it was like, oh, you can make a film for not, $30 million, and you can not follow a 3-act format, and you can, there's so, it's kind of wide open. It was like abstract art, but it really spoke to me. Other films that I think I've taken a lot of inspiration from, the movie Seven, I thought was like a like really amazing film. Like, I really like Enter the Void.
Enter the Void?
Is that the documentary about the...
No, it's like a weird drug movie by Gaspar Noé, who's like, he uses all these like weird camera formats that like nobody ever fucked with. And it's really like, it could probably make you have a seizure, the movie, but it's like really fucked up and like high paced and like really fast paced. And it gives you extreme anxiety. He also made a movie called Irreversible that is the whole movie's backwards. And, but it's crazy. And it's about this like horrific rape scene. And it's like the most horrific rape scene to ever be. It's like a 18-minute rape scene that it's all leading to. And it's the most gruesome shit ever.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, Gaspar Noé, he's a real true artistic rebellion. You know what I mean? Like he's done so much crazy shit. Same with Harmony Korine. I don't love every Harmony Korine film, but like he's somebody that has been really inspiring to me. It's just somebody that did things his own way and like made things that he liked, and he really doesn't give a fuck if you like him or not.
Right. What I was thinking of is I was thinking of Touching the Void.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen that documentary?
Sounds like a porn that you've been into.
That documentary is about these 2 rock climbers.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and they go up, right? And they get into like an avalanche or something, right? And it's like a death scene. And at some point, and they're like buddies. They've been hiking buddies or whatever for a long time. And at a certain point, the one guy's got his heels dug into the ice. And he's got this rope, and it's sun's going down on like the highest mountain in the world or something like that, Everest or some bullshit. And his buddy's hanging from the rope, okay, over the edge, okay. And it's like he's trying to pull his buddy up, but it's too cold, and he's slipping, right? And now you're getting down to like that decision tree in survival. It's like, I mean, there's no sense in both of us dying. So he cuts the rope. And he put in a good like 6 hours or something like that, right? And he's like getting closer to the edge. He cuts the rope. And the guy at the bottom is like trying to climb up. And all of a sudden the rope just goes slack. And he just starts going down, bro. And this guy at the top cries and he feels bad and he shelters up and then he hikes back down and he gets down to base camp and there's like all these rocks and everything before you get to base camp, and he's got like hypothermia. They were out longer than they're supposed to be. And he's in the tent trying to warm up, and all this other shit. The guy he cut loose, through a miracle of miracles, fell into like some kind of ice chasm that had a slope on it. Still broke both of his legs. But he wakes up out of unconsciousness inside like an ice cave, like fucking Luke Skywalker, Empire Strikes Back. His legs don't move, and he's still alive. And this poor fucking bastard with his fucking like 2 knives or whatever it is, he like pulls himself down the rest of the mountain over and like spends like one night just exposed. His feet are gonna get cut off because they're gangrene or whatever it is, frostbitten to death. And then he's trying to yell. And when he gets down to the bottom of the place, his legs are broken, and he can see the tent where his friend is. And he's trying to yell, and he's like, "Ah!" But the wind is so heavy that the guy in the tent can't hear him. And he can see the guy like by a fire and getting warm, and he's like, "Ah!" And like his friend can't hear him. And not only that, but this pile of rocks was the bathroom for all the other. I'm not lying. And this guy, his lips are all cracked and blue with his knives. And broken legs and gangrene frostbitten toes, climbs over human excrement and the rocks, and makes it all the way to his buddy and was like, "You son of a bitch!"
And he tries to stab him. Right?
Eventually, like I won't tell you what happens to them after that, but that's the true story. That's an amazing.
That's the only thing you didn't tell us about the movie.
I'm sorry, but dude, it's been out for like since 2003. If you haven't seen it by now, fuck it.
Dude, in my version of the movie, it gets to the end and like just randomly gets ran over by like a snowmobile and dies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something super, random. Like somebody in the film crew kills him.
Can you imagine that? Like you get cut loose, you survive, you fucking come all the way down, and you're trying to yell through cracked blue lips, and your buddy's like just around the fire getting warm.
Back to Steve's question.
Yeah.
I think my third favorite thing I could think in film is actually TV would be like True Detective season 1.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Time is a flat circle.
I felt like that to me, like that was one of those things I watched and like I wanted to start crying because I was like so bummed that I didn't make it, or I'll never be able to make that because that guy already did. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, like so upset by it. But yeah, I think those would be up there with my top 3.
What other questions you got, Steve? Pull them out of your little magic bag there.
3 favorite rock. Let's hear your favorite rock groups.
Rock groups. I guess they would technically qualify as rock, but it would have to be Minor Threat, Bad Brains, and Black Flag.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay.
Very good. Keep going.
That's how old I am.
3 favorite rap artists. Top 3.
Little Xan.
Yeah, definitely not Lil Xan. None of the Lils, unfortunately.
MC Cat, Scat Cat.
I would say, and again, I'm old, but probably Del the Funky Homo Sapien. Probably E40, and
he's a Bay Area guy, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all of them are. And then number 3, I'd probably say somebody like Talib Kweli or something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kind of on the weirder side of hip hop, but then also DMX.
I love
DMX.
Forever DMX. Like now, lately on set, like on my photo shoot sets, I'll blast DMX.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get a good mood going,
dude. Every rapper I work with, I remember just recently, I was shooting ASAP Ferg, who's like as current as you can get as far as like big rappers go, and that dude got so hyped over DMX. He was just like, yeah, and his whole crew was like, it changed the whole vibe to the set.
Right.
And it's like just having some dude that has just taken a crack blast, like screaming at you over hip hop beats is tight.
Right.
You know what's a good thing to watch love him or hate him, that new like Tekashi 6ix9ine documentary, who's like, obviously that dude's a clown and he's like, you know, the worst dude, but
he's the worst dude.
Obviously he's a clown and he's the worst dude, but
he ain't the worst dude.
But the documentary is really good because I do think that kid is a marketing genius. And I think that, and he even talks about it, and people recount his sort of rise to fame and how he did it. And he basically did it by making everybody angry. He purposely made everybody mad at him. Like, and it worked. And he's now one of the most recognizable figures in hip hop right now. And the dude even went to prison and snitched on an entire gang that all got arrested and is doing big federal time now, and he's chilling. And like, yes.
Bad news.
yeah.
But DMX ain't. DMX didn't tell nobody.
But the crazy part about that kid, Tekashi 6ix9ine, is just the way that was marketed and the way that he went about it. Like, he even is marketing him being a snitch. He knew as soon as he got out of prison, everybody's going to call him a snitch. He's like,
right.
So he beat him to it. He called his album Tattletales.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's the worst. I don't respect him as an artist, but I respect him as a marketeer.
Mm.
And like, in the documentary is really, it's actually pretty fascinating to watch. You'll end up hating him just as much. Don't worry.
Did you see a documentary? What was the name of that documentary I had everybody watching? Huh? Remember the name of that documentary? I got a documentary for you. I want you to watch, Darren.
Yeah, Darren. Fucking watch a documentary.
Darren, you're gonna watch fucking documentary. Now, I'm gonna get you a documentary. I'll text it to you. I need you to watch.
What is it about?
It's about those cats that
Thundercats.
sold the fucking Russian mob. Sold a fucking submarine.
Yeah.
To the fucking Colombians.
Yeah. That's a great story.
It's a great fucking documentary.
Have you guys seen that movie about the guy who buys one of those storage units that people leave behind, and inside that storage unit there's a meat smoker, and then inside that meat smoker he finds a mummified human foot. Okay,
I haven't seen that.
So this is a documentary. It's called Finders Keepers.
Yeah, I like it.
So is the whole thing about him wanting to keep the foot?
He has this foot, and he's this hillbilly white trash idiot, right? So he sets it up as a roadside attraction on the side of the highway by his house. Come see this human foot.
Genius.
Right? Well, then some guy pops up, says, "That's actually my foot, and I own it."
Pops up on crutches.
Yeah. He's like, "I own that foot. It's mine. I want it back." They go to court. The judge says, "Finders keepers," basically like, possession.
Abandoned property.
Yeah. And then it goes into the backstory. The guy lost his foot. He's a crackhead dude who like loves smoking crack and does weird shit and like, lost his foot. And this dude found it. And so the whole movie is like their battle, and they hate each other, but they both love attention. And like, so the media takes off with it, and it's insane, dude. And you're like, what in the fucking white trash?
Here is the trailer.
Nuts.
Yeah.
From which Darren is a pick by Darren, curated by Darren.
Yeah.
Here we go.
What's the problem there?
I got a human foot.
Have a what?
A human foot. And it's plumb nasty, got me grossed out.
That sums it up.
The grill and ended up buying it. And I opened the grill up, and there's a foot, 5 toes and 5 toenails. I decided to keep him.
The Smoker Grill is now a tourist attraction.
I can't believe. I mean, who is this guy? That's my leg.
He lost his leg 3 years ago, and that's just one hurdle life has thrown at him.
I've been shot, run over by a state dump truck, electrocuted. I've been through a lot.
An unbelievable character, isn't he?
A gentleman told me today I was a household name in Hollywood, California.
Everybody around here knows him as Footman.
Some folks just call me Foot for short.
Some folks just call me Foot for short. You know what? That's the kind of thing that like inspires me about America. Like I see that and I go, you know, that's somebody that just took something that was nothing and turned it into something.
Good old America.
You know what I mean? Just found
only in America.
Only in America could you get an old smoker, find a foot, and turn it into a massive media controversy.
See, I personally, I love people like that, and like people that a lot of times have no self-awareness and are like live in a delusional world of their own making. I love those people.
I do too.
And I've always celebrated those people. And like,
me too.
If I could like, yeah, if I could make 10 of those movies, I would die happy.
That's why I'm constantly trying to figure out how to make the King Salmon movie. Like I would do like a documentary with King Salmon where he's just got to go to Vegas and try to see, you know, and try to make something happen at a whorehouse. I could just watch that go down.
Dude, so, you know, I've been trying to make that movie like basically King Salmon type story for a long time. A few years ago, my kids and their mom, they moved to Nashville. That's where my family's from and everything. And so I got a house out there and I was living in 2 cities at once. So I would be in LA for 10 days. Then I go to Nashville for 10 days. And when I was in Nashville, my kids, when they were in school, I would hang out at this Burger King or at the Piggly Wiggly in Nashville because it was the most, dude, you couldn't cast these type of characters, right?
Yeah.
And I was looking for a white rapper that was just this side of mentally retarded.
Yes.
And who I could then, because I wanted to see if I could take this person and package them and sell them back to America and have it be successful when it's absolutely dog shit and ridiculous.
Right, like a personal challenge.
Yeah, because I like stuff like that. That's why I was just dealing with Gary Busey
right
a few months ago. It was the same kind of thing. I was tasked with finding a male muse for a high-end couture fashion brand.
Right.
And male models weird me out. I don't like shooting them a lot of times because they're just kind of weird sometimes. And so I was like, we need to get Gary Busey. And I bullshitted a bunch of reasons why that made no sense, but they believed it.
Hold on. Stop right there. Don't gloss over that. So let me ask you this. All right. Number one, like when you're sitting there and you go like, first of all, why don't you want to deal with male models?
Just like a lot of times it just makes me uncomfortable sometimes shooting them because, and listen, they have their things they do. I respect their job.
Right.
But, you know, they have these things they do where it's like, it's muscle memory. As soon as they see a camera lens, they're doing their thing, you know, and they're getting all like, you know, all weird. And
like with their eyes, like giving you eyes.
They're smiling with their eyes and they're
let me ask you this. What is this thing that it seems like all models do, and not even models, like selfie people too, with this head tilt shit and moving shit around like a rhythm? What is that?
I don't know, dude. I don't know what it is. It's always made me uncomfortable. I've never been somebody
What are you talking about?
Haven't you ever seen like people who are taking shots, like chicks, models, whoever, and like as soon as they start taking pictures, they're like, they do these
posing.
weird, like but it's like Vogue, like weird Vogue posing, but like
that used to be in between the shot, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what happened. But now it's like a video, like we got to see him doing it
right
the whole time, and it's weird when it's a dude. And part of that's just like old school, just dumb, you know, gender role masculinity shit,
right?
But which I recognize that, but it still makes me uncomfortable and kind of gives me the idiot shivers sometimes when you're shooting dudes and they're doing that. And look, again, I'm not knocking their job. I get it. They're necessary. But whenever I can avoid doing that, like shooting that, I avoid it when I can.
But see, now, when I'm listening to you talk about it, it almost sounds to me like the same sort of shivers that Sean gets when someone gives him a gift in front of him, where it's not that you're necessarily against it. It's just that you gotta kind of like hide your real feelings about it because it'll fuck up everything.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
right.
And a lot of times, like, you know, one out of 5 of those shots are going to be decent, you know, and so you got to see all the ugly ones, the goofy ones too. And like just seeing another man when just you and another dude there, like, and this isn't at all like on some like weird homophobia thing. It's nothing like that.
Right.
Like, it's just like a thing of like, oh, God damn it, stop, man. You know, like I always live by that thing. Like there was like I don't even know who said it. It was like some like old school crooner dude said like, cool guys don't dance. You know what I mean? And like, I always kind of live by that. Like I don't fucking dance.
Right.
You know, I just don't do it. Like, and frankly, if I sit and I watch other people do it, I get kind of uncomfortable. Cause I'm like, what are you
Sean's nodding. Sean, why are you nodding?
Why are you moving around like that? It's like, and I'm sure it comes from insecurity. Their self-confidence for some reason.
Free. They're just free energy and they're just flowing. You're a little stressed out and uptight and it's making you feel weird.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, reel it in. Like, chill out, bro. Like, and I have to deal with this all the time.
Yeah, you're like in an industry where it's like all they try to do is teach people to be not self-conscious. Like, don't worry about whatever anyone thinks. You just go out there and just let the energy talk to you.
Even when I shoot like female supermodels, I try to make them look ugly as possible on purpose. Like, because to me, I'm more. I want to take an interesting photo, not a pretty one.
Right.
Right.
You want one that's going to stand out.
Yeah. I want them making snarling faces, like picking their nose, like the shit that other photographers aren't going to do. That's the one I want. Right. Is because, and I tell people this all the time, especially when it's music artists and female music artists. I'm like, listen, there's a hotter chick right behind you. She's 17. She's on Instagram. She's killing it, you know, and you can only rely on being that hot chick for, you got like 20 minutes left of that shit.
Right.
Be an artist, be interesting. Right. Like, how do we make you interesting and not just like a hot chick? Cause that's easy. That's like, and it's been bought and sold. Like it used to be only pop stars were hot chicks or whatever, you know, but now I'm like, you're competing with the girl on TikTok that can sing a note but has a fake ass. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is. Like, so that's why I'm always like, look, like, I'll take pictures when they don't know I'm taking the picture.
Right.
Or like, you know, I love photographers like Bruce Gilden, so that just get in people's faces and like make people uncomfortable and like, like those are the shots that I love where I'm like, oh, that actually.
Sean does that to me.
Has some kind of emotion to it. Now, if they did to me, I would be horrified.
No, Sean does that to me. Sean loves to make me feel uncomfortable. Today, Sean, this is a true story. Today, why are you shaking your head?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Okay. I'm coming in and I'm here and Sean's here. And I don't even know when he makes this decision. I don't even know when he's like in his like convertible, I don't know what, taking photos of himself. I don't know what he's doing in there, but he's like in there with he's got his journal and he's writing or whatever. But for some reason in his mind, he's like, I'm going to make Chumahan feel real fucking uncomfortable right now. So he gets out and I'm like, hey man, how's it going? And he just stares at me. He's just looking at me and he's got like the mask on and I'm like, so how are you? And he's like, looking at me weird, looking at me all intense. And I'm like, you know what, man? Fuck you. I'm not, what was that? Why were you doing that?
I love you. You make it out to be something super dramatic,
dude. We walked from your car to this front door a long ways, and you wouldn't speak a word, and you stared at me like a serial killer, and you're trying to make me the fucked up one.
It's because you said before I could even say anything, you're like, "Oh, are you looking at me weird?"
No, you were looking at me weird. Now it's my fault. This is my fault.
So I just went with it.
Listen, I have people turn that. I'm the same way. I'm perfect target for shit like that. Where I'll be like, "What's wrong? What's the matter? Why are you saying anything?" And then next thing you know, I just played my damn self all the way to the door, and they didn't probably do shit.
No. He knows what he does. He likes to make people feel weird. In fact, you've admitted it, Sean, when you said that when people show up to like a meeting late, you like to not say anything and be silent because then people feel like they fucked up, and then later you tell them, "Oh, that's cool, man." But you like to get that.
I get that. You don't want to let them off the hook right away.
Yeah, come on, man. Why are you pretending like?
I do that when I shoot artists. Sometimes I'm not a photographer or director that'll be like, "Oh yeah, beautiful. Oh fuck yeah, amazing." A lot of times I don't say a word. Like, some artists, I've even had a manager come to me and say, "Hey, he responds better if you cheer him on or something." I was like, "Well, hire him a cheerleader. What do you want me to do?" Like,
did you sock that dude in the chest? You're like, "Yeah, well, fuck."
But I was like, "Look, I'm doing my job. Like, I'll let him know when he's doing something wrong." You know what I mean? And they were like, "Okay." But like certain people, they get real weird if you don't cheer them on,
and you don't orient them where they're at in your judgment
feedback.
Yeah.
Or if you like.
So how do you? So wait. So okay. So you're like, fuck it. I want to take some natural, different, distinguishing, something interesting. So then, how do you go? So who do you have to convince? And what is your bullshit move to get them to go with the Gary Busey idea? Like, do you come in there in a fit of creative rage, and like, do you swipe everything off the table and say this is all bullshit? Like, how do you do it?
No, I just tell them like, okay, you can get like 1 million male models. Like, who gives a shit? Like, are they going to look good in the clothes? Who cares? Everybody hires people to look good in their clothes. We're not going to do that. We're going to hire people that look horrible. I love it. Like, and we're going to, because here's the thing too. It was a new brand. It was trying to stand out. They're trying to like make some noise. Like, people love to use that. Like, it's become this like shitty marketing term, like disruptive, right? We're going to be disruptive.
I hate that.
But everybody, they want to be the second person to be disruptive, right? Like they want to wait until somebody else did something and then made it safe, and then they'll do it.
Right.
Like I remember when the Childish Gambino "This Is America" video came out. It was, that's that one of him like kind of dancing with no shirt on,
right? Just a natural blah blah blah.
And he like shoots kids and shit, and it's like a commentary on modern America.
Yeah.
And every cheesy middle-aged white dude at a record label was like, "Oh man, so powerful! Wow." Meanwhile, I've been pitching fucked up shit like that for years, and they're like, "You can't do that. That's insane. You can't point guns at kids." And I'm like, "Sure you can. You should." And like. So then a week after that, every brief that came into my inbox was like, "We're looking to do something kind of controversial. Is that raising eyebrows?" And I'm like, "Oh, you mean like this?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, you want to be second, right?"
Right.
But they don't want to be first.
How the fuck do those people get into decision making in the creative world in the first place? Like, why do you have to deal with those mediators?
I don't know, because in the entertainment industry, a lot of people fail upward.
That's insane.
It's weird that it happens. I don't know exactly how it happens. Maybe it's happened to me. Fuck, I don't know. But like, there's a lot of people where I'm like, I can't believe this person has a job. And then you get an email like, "I'm now the senior vice president." And you're like, "God, what in the fuck?" Like, I don't know. They're just,
And like, you got to go in there, right? And you got to talk to those people and be like, "Listen, I know you think it's brilliant to do the same shit everyone else is doing, but you don't want to do that. What you want is now listen, now hear me out, okay?"
I'll hit them usually sometimes with data, because that's sometimes the only thing they understand, right? Is you bullshit a bunch of data to them.
Yeah.
Like, dude, or context, like, because you're never gonna just convince them off of like hey, this is a good idea, get behind it.
Right.
They're not going to do it. They're going to go, who else has done something like this? And can you prove that it worked? Right. So then you got to go and you got to find, oh, well, here's a time when somebody did use juxtaposition to sell a product and like, it worked. I went and I showed them. I remember like the K-Swiss commercial featuring Danny McBride when they did that whole thing. It's like a 14-minute commercial where somebody just like threw the Hail Mary and said like K-Swiss needs something different, and they hired fucking what's his name from Eastbound.
Kenny Powers.
Yeah, so Kenny Powers was the representative. So
if people don't know what that is, Kenny Powers was, what was the name of that show, that comedy show?
Eastbound and Down.
Fucking great show.
Amazing show.
I love that fucking show.
I show them examples of things like that where it's worked, and then they go, oh, okay. And then, I had a similar conversation, or sometimes you beat them or you use their own bullshit against them. Like I recently had a shoot where I was doing a photo shoot with a fairly known artist, and I wanted to have her breastfeeding a baby goat.
Yeah, I like that.
And the head of marketing of a very, very large record label sent me an email that was like, first off, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I don't know what happened to you as a child or whatever, but you were not doing this with our artist, right? And I was like, so I wrote him back, dude, the longest email where I went and researched how African women in centuries ago would let animals breastfeed on them to toughen the nipple in preparation for birth, and also to keep lactating, because at times they would have to feed other babies in the village.
That's true.
If their mom died or whatever. So I made it about that and about female empowerment, and I asked him why he was so scared of the female body, and put it in all the, added historical reference to it, and he wrote back like, you're an asshole, but you beat me on this one, so go ahead. So I shot it.
That's great. That's beautiful.
And then I found out that later that day, another lady from the marketing department came in and was like, yeah, like, what's your problem with the female body? And he just shook his head and was like, God damn it.
That's right. You're not the asshole. He's the asshole.
No, he's the asshole.
Right.
Right. So, you're right. A lot of the job is like convincing people of like dumb ideas are smart or somehow important. And like, that's a lot of what I have to do. And I mean,
you should write a book.
Well, it's very evident in my work. I mean, I once did a video of morbidly obese women.
I love that.
In gold bikinis swinging on sides of beef while like a senior citizen's rapping like Tyga's verse or something. I mean, like, senior citizen speed dating I've done. Like, I mean.
Like you personally did it?
No, like a video of it. I did a whole thing of a Mormon.
Did the senior citizen speed dating? Did they use those phones with the giant buttons so they could see it?
Yeah, they probably would have if they had to.
Do you have any questions for Steve right now? Steve's. I think we're hitting Steve's sleep hour.
Yeah, we are.
You got any questions for him? What questions you got? This is your show now. What questions you got for Big Lux right now?
Well, I think myself and the internet all agree maybe you should eat before you come on. Like, there's been a lot of talk.
There's a lot of disruption.
There's a lot of talk about me not eating. Oh, eating before I come in.
Like eating on the show, before you come on the show.
Right. That's my only comment. Although I have converted, I think, to liking it.
Right.
Because it is something you're not supposed to do.
Right.
So I do like that. You are being quote unquote disruptive in that way. But you could also just be a marketing genius.
No, dude, we've had comments from guys where like Danny Murillo was like talking about like, and Little Sleepy was in the bed and he was dying, and then the guy was like, and then you can hear Steve eating a rib, like, right? That's terrible.
Dude, that's part of the charm.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, my girlfriend asked me whenever I put on the podcast in the car, she asked me, have these dudes ever even met a woman?
Right. I mean, does it come across as kind of like a male show, or that we don't really understand women to her, or what?
I don't know if it's you don't understand. It definitely comes across as a male show.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of women listeners.
No, but I mean, it's interesting because it's the same. Is that the same lady that I met the other day?
Yeah.
Right. So she's
the same young woman I met.
Well, listen, he's an eligible bachelor.
Right.
He's a man of style. He's wanted in all corners of the world, especially the third world. But so what? So what? Like in what circumstance? I would love to have her come on and just tell us straight up, like, listen.
No, she would never do that. But like she. I think we were listening to an episode where you guys brought on a guest and you spent the first 30 minutes maybe talking about his dick, or like him like being like a player, or like a ladies' man, a coxman, a real swordsman.
Yeah. Who?
And
yeah, that was Lion Heron.
That may have been it, yeah. But I remember like her being like looking at me like it was like what I imagine like parents looked at their kids that were watching like South Park or something in the 90s, you know,
right.
like what in the fuck is wrong with it?
Come on.
What projects you got coming up, or how do people throw money at you? Like, how do we get you paid? What are you doing? What's the word?
You know, if you want me to be a male model, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like husky dadwear.
Any chance that we can get you to at least critique King Salmon's look? Any chance that we could do like an on-air appraisal of the vibe? Go ahead.
Here's the thing about King Salmon is I have no complaints about his look. I think his look is perfect for him.
If I recall correctly, you described one of his jerseys as having the same color design as Boner Pills at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, his shirt looked like it was designed by the same people that designed those gas station Boner Pills.
Dude, that is so good.
That's dead on, right?
That is so. The ones with the big old buffalo and the fucking
yeah.
Because you gotta have a big
got
animal.
Like watermarks all over it.
You can't try to sell a boner pill and have a salamander.
No,
on it.
dude.
You gotta have like a tiger
with
with
a
a
fucking ring through his nose. Right.
That's a design style that I like it. Maximalism.
Right.
It's
Yeah. I like that
like,
shit too.
Punch you in the face with whatever it is.
It's real
like,
American bionic man shit.
Extreme. Right.
Yeah. And like the fact that like people still they know it's ridiculous, but they know it'll still work. Because like if you are looking for a boner pill, yeah, are you going to buy the one that has like a koala bear on it?
Right. The one with the little grasshopper on it?
No, man.
With a fucking PBR bull fucking breaking loose.
At least a Black Panther, you know what I mean? With his fucking mouth open and fucking claws
I want to look like a PBR bull.
Yeah, or I'd make it like if I was gonna do it,
I feel like you're actually talking about some boner pills there.
Yeah.
I'd make it like a shark with eagle talons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
X-ray
like,
vision.
With gorilla arms or something.
Right.
Now let me ask you. So let me talk. So it's interesting because you're good at being able to break shit down like that.
Yeah,
that's a good one. So now let's talk, Darren, for a second about
where are we going?
You know, I'm in a world. I'm in a world of like I come from a streetwear, that type of world.
Yeah.
But it's definitely today, these days, the culture has always been together with cannabis. A lot of the shit that goes on. And now it's turning into this whole thing. And it's like people kind of collectively understand that the people that are coming from cannabis understand maybe some things that relate to cannabis, but they really don't understand merchandising, design, all this other stuff. And so we were getting waves of like this cannabis stuff where they were trying to like attach apparel to it, and like some of this shit was just retarded, bro.
Just
like,
whack.
They didn't, yeah. And you start seeing these big cannabis companies starting to merge together and outsource or find the apparel guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's all happening throughout at least streetwear and skate and all that stuff. That's all happening.
Right.
You know, but people get either mad or, you know how like they're not supposed to design this flavored tobacco for kids, right?
Yeah.
They're also not supposed to design this fucking weed and these weed companies for like kids stuff. They have like, there's certain limitations or something.
That's fucking lame though, because like the whole 90s was all about apparel with weed shit on it for kids.
Yeah.
Well, there was a
they were
weed
selling
leaf.
apparel, not weed.
Right. It was a weed leaf. It was a symbol.
I know, but like you would go on and like you'd go and you would see like, you know, the fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken logo, but it would say THC.
Right. Very
But that
little.
wasn't because they weren't selling weed.
Right.
They weren't
They were promoting a lifestyle. They weren't promoting their business.
They weren't beholden to the FDA or the
right.
Yeah, but think about the logic there. If weed's illegal and it's a crime to purchase it, then we can market it to kids. Once it becomes legal, whoa, you can't market it to kids.
Right. So
that's weird.
It is weird. But a lot of people get mad at these weed companies. They don't get mad
Who's
at
getting mad at a weed company?
Well, they feel. I think
a lot of people get mad at weed companies.
Yeah, they do. They feel
a lot
like
of people.
They feel like they're culture vultures, and they're like,
well, that too. But what I'm saying is this: design people. They're like, oh, the fucking weed looks so cheesy. The weed looks so all this packaging, and I get what they're saying, but I think all this weed shit is cool, bro. I think a lot of it looks cool. All these crazy.
Some of it's cool.
Some of it, not all of it. Some of it. Some of this gradient, crazy way out. But what's going on with all that, bro? How come so much of it has that same feeling? I mean, I know it's coming out of the same area.
Because I think they're tryhards, or like they're trying to like a lot. There's two types, right? There's like the people that try to go overly clinical and make it look like it came from a 1920s apothecary.
Right.
Like
Yes.
We're purveyors, not drug dealers. And they're like, they're trying too hard to overly legitimize it, right? And make it a high-end lifestyle thing when it's just like, dude, shut up, bro. Like nobody cares. Like, so and what they do then is they're missing their demographic, right? Their demographic doesn't care if they smoke weed or not.
Exactly.
Like, they're not trying to cover it up as like something else.
Right.
You know what I mean, they're not like, no, this is for my glaucoma only. Like,
right.
Those days are gone, right?
They're like, this is alien labs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like they basically want stuff that looks like boner pills. Like
yeah, exactly. But I'm kind of, that's why I brought it up, because some of this shit is like, I can't even come up with like space packs, or like they have these crazy names like Rainbow Skittles, and then there's like there's these gradient colors, and they have like the buds like assorted a certain way, and like there's
they want it to look like, dude, and this is crazy, and the worst part is it will probably work at certain times, because if you look at a lot of like hip hop culture, a lot of it has to do with Arrested Development, right? About reclaiming youth or not losing your youth, right? And a lot of it has to do with like shit that like they did as kids. That's why they make like Sour Patch weed.
Right.
Right.
That's why they make shit that looks like Fruity Pebbles.
Everything.
Right. Cereal weed.
Yeah. Like, and dude, even in like a lot of hip hop culture, like especially in the South, are you familiar with like what a donk is? Right. You know, the car that's like has like, it'll be like it
looks like it's white and green, or
no, it's like a box Chevy.
Yeah.
You know, from like 83 to 94 or some shit, and it'll have like 40-inch rims on it. Like it'll be massive, like super tall. And they put themes to them, right? And it'll be like, dude, I saw the sickest one. It was like a Newport cigarette pack.
Right.
And it was so tight. And then but then there'll be like, I saw one that was like, yeah, like a Fruity Pebbles version,
Oreo
or like
cookie.
Tricks. Yeah, but it's all about shit they loved as kids.
Right.
And for some reason, like, even if you look at like certain hip hop culture, like I remember I lived in New York for a little bit, and I would be on the train and I would see like the most thugged out dude wearing a Looney Tunes sweatsuit.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you'd be like, what in the like?
Yep.
And like I remember thinking like the last thing I want to do is get punched by a dude in a Looney Tunes sweatsuit.
Right.
Maybe
Tweety.
that's part of it, but like, I think that's a big part of it, of like Arrested Development, of like trying to reclaim youth or innocence or things that you loved as a kid. And it could be them still trying to make it seem more innocent than it is, right?
Sure.
Like, this is just like fun and candy. It's not weed. You're not going to call the cops on yourself because you got so paranoid. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
So, I'm embarrassed to say it would that type of marketing would probably work on me, because
but the thing about it is that the United States at general, I mean, if you look at, I think all sectors, a lot of people are celebrating arrested youth. Like, it's not just hip hop, it's women, it's everywhere you go in the United States. Everyone's trying to stay young for as long as fucking possible.
For sure.
And I'm personally against that. I'm totally fucking against that, which is probably why I'll never be popular, is because I'm like, you know what? I tell my wife this all the time. Like, I'm like, you're trying to hide wrinkles. You're trying to fucking, some of these wine moms, they want to act like they're still in high school with their daughters. And I'm like, you know what, man? You need some people modeling some adult behavior. You need some people that are going to have genuine expertise. The Arrested Development aspect is somebody who believes that if I have a great start in something, I'm going to be successful. The adult version of it is Darren, who's got, years worth of images that he's collected that's given him a certain level of mastery. And
that's not as fun.
Actually, it is. It is.
He'll dictate and tell you what's
yeah,
fun
what the fuck are you saying? It is more fun because you're actually doing shit. Other people ain't doing shit.
I agree, but I'm saying from a marketing standpoint, like, especially with current pop culture, like, everybody's looking for to win the lottery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, because we've seen it happen. We've seen the kids come out of nowhere. Next thing you know, they're millionaires. We've seen the kid that gets drafted right out of high school, and next thing you know is a multimillionaire. Like, all these things. A lot of people, just now have I started seeing things where people, I forget what it was. I saw some hip hop artist recently that was commenting on like how like the culture should stop promoting, gold chains and fucking, expensive shoes, and should talk more about like owning, starter properties and things like that. And like, how to build long-term wealth, which, while I get it, it makes for a lot less interesting hip hop songs. I'll tell you that much. Like, I don't want to hear about somebody's like prime, fucking APR and shit. Like, it's not as fun.
Yeah, but you know what? You're right. I mean, and so listen, I'm not necessarily saying what a certain art form is supposed to be putting out there as far as content is. But what I am saying is that that actually your story is not really out there. And your story is actually really interesting, which is you've got a collection of, goofballs, that you like and that have gone on to do successful things. You're actually working creatively with top like acts today, people who are influencing culture. You're also having to deal with the mediators in the fucking suits that fuck everything up and are just somehow failing upwards and slowing everything down. And so I think we're entering a different phase, and I could be totally fucking wrong, but I think we're entering a phase where maybe not like financial stability, because I think financial stability is going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Okay. But mastery, true mastery is, and the journey of mastery, I feel like I've seen more and more people starting to understand the message that, like, if you really want to understand something and you want to be able to have power within that.
Yeah.
Like you want
People
to
talk about their 10,000 hours a lot now, right?
It's more than it was. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot
And
more.
even that, right? It's like that mastery is not a box that you check off. Mastery is something. I mean, how many places along your life, Darren, were you working on something or putting a lot of time in, and like it was not really guaranteed that any success was going to come from it?
Most of them.
Right.
Hey, can you guys hold on one sec?
Yeah.
I'm just about to pee my pants.
Go ahead. I've already taken 2 pisses. Looks like Steve's going to take that opportunity to... You know what I've always loved? I've always loved cigarette packaging, bro. Why is that so good?
They do it because it's like soda pop. It's like good cereal. It's all thought up, real, taking certain key color,
Yeah.
the highlight color,
Right.
energy, powerful color.
Right.
They got all this shit steady and figured out.
Right. What do you think, Sean? Mr. and Mrs. Earbuds, it sounds like we're all kind of like sort of taking a break. Sean.
Look at that shirt that guy's wearing.
All right. Sean's wearing Supermax. He's making it look good. What do you think about what we're talking about so far? What's coming up for you as we talk about mastery, arrested development?
How I'm going to break this into 2 episodes?
Or yeah. I mean, we're
I was
going
going to ask you to do an intro after this.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's what's going through my head.
Right. But I mean, how often do you... Yeah.
I want to ask Darren.
Yeah, go ahead.
What idea he would have if he were to make a King Salmon video for one of his tracks.
Right.
Because I'd love to hear his
Get
concept.
zapped out.
Get zapped out.
Get zapped out. Do we have that queued up? Get zapped out. Get zapped out. Remember how mad he got when I was asking him, like, what is getting zapped out? Like, and he was like, it's fucking electricity, dude. Dude. It's like a fucking Tesla. Dude. Sean's got a question for Darren when he comes back. He wants to know what Darren's concept would be for a King Salmon video. Mr. and Mrs. Earbuds.
This is a new one.
Wait. M to the D. Triple E. This is how I lead. 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 M to the D. Triple to the E. Wipe them all out. Come a tsunami.
The holidays are bustling with activity. Handle it all with Happy Honda Days. Shopping for that perfect present? The Honda Accord and Civic Sedan can get you there. Take on the season with financing as low as 0.9% APR on the 2020 Accord and as low as 1.9% APR on the 2020 Civic Sedan on select models from well-qualified buyers.
See dealer for financing details.
Who are you texting? My therapist. You text with your therapist? Text, video chat, call. Yep. That sounds too easy. How did you find her? I just went to betterhelp.com/save. She's a licensed therapist and it's all online. I connect when it's convenient for me and don't waste time driving anywhere. Plus, it's affordable. I wonder if I should try it. It's great to talk to someone in confidence. She's helped me sort out quite a few things. And right now you save 10% off the first month when you go through betterhelp.com/save. BetterHelp.com/save. Got it.
Rise to the top, I'm the cream of the crop. Can't stop me. What you see is what you get, but you can't get me. Stick up to my feet, I'm a glide to the sea. Cutting up the decks, y'all can glide with me. Take a little trip, y'all can S-double-E. I was on top, they got the lock for the key. Devastating, breaking, taking, making them G's. Hot when I'm dropping dollars, baby, please. Baby, come with me, baby, then you see what it means to be. We gon' take a trip to the Casbah.
You like that, huh? Hey, Sean's all into it, dog. Hey, Sean's into it. Sean likes it. Sean, maybe you should manage him. Maybe you should be his producer.
Yeah, be his manager.
That's how I be. That's how I be. Triple to the E. That's how I be.
Yeah. Sean likes it a lot. Sean was, you know, when he starts moving his head and closing his eyes. You gotta take a whole box back for him.
Because my mother-in-law, dude, I didn't tell you.
Yeah, she knows the place.
Not only she know, dude, you
Her
would've-
girls worked over there.
Oh yeah, dude, you would have thought.
Right, that was the interesting shit.
You would have thought that he would like that. I talked
he
to
had Biden
Elvis.
on.
Yeah, I talked to Elvis.
Let's see if I have his song.
Do the one. My face is in the chips with a dip at.
Yeah.
You know I do a little flip when I
My
skip
face
back.
is in a dick bag. What'd he say?
He goes. He's got one rap where it's like, "Yo, my face is in the chips where the dip at." Wait. You're good. All right. Listen, we've got an important artist for you to work with. We want to hear maybe some thoughts you might have for a video.
Like me.
For a video?
For a video for King Salmon.
Like me. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, but ain't nobody like me.
I mean,
motherfuckers think twice.
Think twice, man. Wait, can you play play the new shit? Play the new shit, Sean. For
I'm trying to.
You know
find
what's crazy? I do think that I could successfully find a lane that we could sell King Salmon in a way that would probably like, and if it went off like crazy, like it would be an accomplishment. But I think, okay, so the thinking behind it. So I've worked with a lot of these like really popular Korean pop groups, like K-pop groups,
right?
And they'll have like 12 dudes in the band,
video was
right?
sponsored by Skillshare.
Okay. Yeah.
And one thing they do is they get one guy in the group that sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Like he'll be either kind of fat, he's just not good at dancing.
Yeah.
And I started noticing this, and I started asking questions like, "Yo, what's wrong with that little guy over there? Like, he fucking sucks. Like,
Yeah.
the rest of these dudes are killing the game, and on set they're dancing, they're doing their shit, and there's always one dude's lame." And they said that in their culture, they like to have somebody to root for, somebody to see get better, right?
Yeah.
And I found that really fascinating, and I was like, wow, and it works. And so I started looking into it, and like there'd be entire fan clubs for the one fat kid in the K-pop group that sucks. Like,
I love that.
So because it's more relatable if you think about it, Like,
Right.
You relate more to the kid that's like kind of struggling to keep up with all these like overly good looking like cyborgs. And
Right.
like, so you're like, oh man. Now here's the thing, like, I think King Salmon represents a part of all of us.
For sure.
And it's why he might be off-putting to a lot of people. It may be that like, if you spot it, you got it shit.
For sure.
Where you're like, oh man, am I like that? Fuck. Right. And like, I know that I've had those times in my life. So if you can really push on that and exploit that in a way where people go like, first they get mad, then they get confused, and then they get empathetic. Right.
Right.
Like, because you look at it and you go, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? And you're like, this guy's a dickhead or whatever. You know, you look at it and you're like, what? And then you go like, I don't even know if I understand what's going on. And then you go like, oh man, go get him, pal. You know?
All right.
Like,
So having said that, okay, you've laid out a very interesting theoretical issue, one that's reflective. What do you think about, here we go. I want you to Just let this go into your
On
creative.
that motherfucking level.
Already love
That's
it.
how we do that shit. Come and get some. Cause I'ma keep on spitting till these lyrics come out. Then I'ma keep on spitting till the cotton in the mouth. Then I'ma keep on spitting till I'm high on the mouth. But I never look down, I'm only looking around. Got my family on the level, now you're hearing the sound. It's coming out of my brain and flowing out of my mouth. Now I'm dropping all these lyrics like a pound of stout. But don't be disappointed, cause I'm astounded, no doubt. Rising like a rocket, that's what I'm talking about. Elevated to the level, now I'm wearing the crown. But I never look down, I'm only looking around. Got my family on the level, now I'm hearing the sound. Epic on these tales, every round.
What are your thoughts? Just free association.
My thoughts are, I wish it was worse. You know what I mean? Because
he's got worse shit.
Yeah. I mean, because it's kind of dancing that line of like, you know, is this somebody that knows what they're doing, or is it somebody that knows how to fly vocals decently, like in retime? Like,
it's true what you say. There's like this weird thing where it's like,
it's a little blurry, where like you can almost take it seriously if you didn't know. Because I'm trying to think of the viewer or the listener that has no context, right? Like,
right, they don't know.
I mean, the beginning's funny to me because like it's so aggressive for no reason.
Dude. Yeah, but you're talking. That's his. Hey, that's Mad E. When Mad E
which
steps,
I love. I do
From
love
Northern California.
Yeah. I love like overly aggressive for no reason. That is funny to me.
Pissed off for no reason.
Right. This is how we do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so,
motherfucker.
You know, now if we had a video of that and it was like, and we really did just pick up on him playing cornhole, or it's like, or him, you know, pressure washing something.
Yes.
No reason. Like,
yes.
To me, that's interesting. Right. And like, that's the kind of weird shit that I sell to like, you know, Korean pop groups. Like, hey guys, I'm going to have you wearing a Kentucky Fried Chicken hoodie while pressure washing. And they're like, what? Cool. Because they didn't you know, they may not have the cultural reference for it.
Having said that, let's now, speaking of cultural reference, let's try another cut. Let's just see what Maddie. You should see the picture of that he's got of this.
That's tight.
Goes down like this.
What is that?
These some fucking rap stars drop to the drop that real hard. Whip to the whip and fast cars. Hit and spit to the wig on check. The fuck to the lay down, beat down, fade on, make no shit. Hate on,
Okay, I get it. I mean, here's the thing. It needs context to work. Right. So, like, you got to let him, you got to give him just enough rope. You know what I mean? So it would, like, I would launch it with like a short documentary of like the craziest shit, but he needs an opposition.
What do you mean?
He needs opposition, whether it's you telling him he's a dork and it'll never work. He needs something.
Right.
Like,
he needs somebody pushing back against it that he can overcome.
Or somebody that's like real deal, like urban culture people, like, you know, or because then he can win them over.
Wait.
Okay.
It's like his ex-wife.
That's what I was thinking. Christy, listen, it would be perfect because the backstory to this is back when he was married and King Salmon and his wife were in their apartment, he would sit there and write raps and drink beer while she was trying to watch like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that, right? Yeah. And she would be, you know, start getting mad because he was getting loud and drunk. So he'd be like,
getting pumped up on himself.
This is what we do right here, see? I'm gonna lay it down. And then does all that. Now listen, and she's like trying to block it out. Right. They're in a 1-bedroom apartment, right? And she's trying to block it out, trying to watch like Jimmy Kimmel. And then finally she snaps. And his ex-wife is the nicest woman you'll ever meet, like a 420 earth peace loving lady. And she's a social worker. She works with people on the street, and she would snap on King Salmon and be like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. And then King Salmon will then go into the hurt husband, no one believes in my dreams mode.
Oh.
Right? And he'd be like, oh!
That's similar to like you're talking about my dad mode type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda,
Okay.
yeah.
Kind of goes
Kinda,
this place, right?
You fucking, you don't believe in me. And then they would get in this loud fight. And he would get his raps and he would start like trying to force her to listen. Listen! She'd be like, you're too old. You're too old to be rapping. If it was going to happen, it would have happened by now.
Yeah.
And then, right,
yeah.
she finally, she snaps. And she goes into the bathroom, which is her move. She'll go into the bathroom and lock the door. She don't want to deal with that fucker anymore, right? It's a mess out there going on. There's an aging, unfamous rapper who's drunk and wants recognition right now, God damn it. And she said he would go to the door with the lyrics and start like pounding on the door and reciting the lyrics and just keep going over until his nice Earth 420 wife snaps, opens the door. And she told me, she was like, I didn't know what else to do. She grabbed him by the face, squeezed his cheeks, and said, you better shut the fuck up or I'm going to fucking kill you. And
that's the opening of the video.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because if we have opposition, we can do our, into the second act, like he's got to make a decision. He's got to lay it all on the line.
Yes.
He's got to invest it all.
Right.
And like, what's that decision going to be? What's going to happen that where we can like, we've already invested in him as a character. We've already seen some of ourselves in him. We can relate. We've all had, been proverbially grabbed by the face and told we're shit.
Yeah.
Some of us physically, that's happened to.
Right. Because, dude, and in his story, I mean, dude, there's so many levels that he could go down before he has to make the decision because his car is always breaking down. And he always winds up having to walk on the side of the road, on the shoulder. And his wife squeezes his face, his car breaks down, he's walking on the shoulder, right, at night. And it's like,
well, that's my master performance shot for the video would be him walk down the side of the road and dodging shit being thrown at him from cars, but with like Matrix like abilities.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Bullet time.
Somebody throws a milkshake at him and he does like a back bend to dodge it, and it's like slow motion.
Right.
And it's like, people are calling him names, people are doing this, and like, maybe he hits him with a dragon bag or something.
Right.
Right. He comes back.
Right.
Some kind of, there's got to be cornholes, got to be involved.
Do you remember when he was doing that video from the sidewalk and that like little kid came up and like
Yeah.
That's true. So Salmon was doing a video and I think because he went through this period before other people started doing it, I think. He went through this period where he was painting his nails.
Okay.
And like painting his nails like silver.
he still does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody's like trying to tell him like cut it out or whatever.
Yeah.
So he got on Marco Polo and sent a video to me and Sean and everybody. Right. Like he's an independent and he doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks. He's gonna fucking wear his nails and blah 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 blah. And as he's walking, like an 11-year-old says, "Hey, stop painting your nails, man. That's fucking gay."
Yeah.
I swear to
and
God.
he picks it up all in the recording behind you.
Yeah, it did. It
and
did.
he's like,
What did he do? What was his reaction, Sean? He's like, whatever that kid said, I don't care. And he just kept walking.
Yeah, I like that. Even if his opposition, is like little kids. Like, it's just like constantly getting punked by kids. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's great.
Yeah, and there's another part of it. See, that's the thing, though. We'd have to keep it narrow because the other part could be his business part, too, which is like he's always got Dragon Bags and Dragon Nation, but he's in a fight with the state of California right now because the California bag throwers aren't giving him much love. He's huge in the Midwest. He's telling me and Sean that he's an icon. Right? Didn't he tell us?
An icon.
He told me and Sean that he's
to be fair, what's it take to be an icon in cornholing? I mean,
he
could be.
In the Midwest, apparently, he can stay at anyone's house that he wants to. He goes there, weekend, does cornhole tourneys in Iowa, and the people know him, and he's signing bags. He's autographing bags. So I don't know how we would utilize all the opposition against saying that he's an icon, all the opposition that doesn't understand what he's about, all that shit, and have him break through in the video or in the documentary.
Or not, which is also funny to me.
That would be funny.
Where you set it up like it's really going to be a, triumphant, and it's just not.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah.
That's
This
also
never really
exciting.
happens.
Yeah, that's also
Just like
exciting.
it never really happened for him.
Yeah.
And then the end of the video is that chick fucking over him, waking him up because he's in a fucking dream again.
Yeah.
Get your ass up.
Yeah.
Get to work.
Yeah, he wakes up, he's
Dreaming that
pressure
you're going to be a fucking rapper again. Get your ass and kicks his ass out of the house.
I mean, he was working at Joann's Fabrics.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was working at Joann Fabrics.
That's tight.
Not
That's
only was he
tight.
working at Joann Fabrics, right? He first of all, he understood a lot about fabric because he makes the bags. Like,
Yeah,
he knows duck
clearly.
cloth and all this shit, right? He was
See,
the
that's a guy that's dedicated to his shit, bro.
dude. He was the only male that applied. It was like 8 grandmas and then him. And they laughed at him. But because he knew all the materials and he already had an in because he knew some of the ladies that were cutting the cloth in the back, they hired him.
Dude, he should have an alter ego named Joanne. That'd be sick. Which could be the personification of his wife that doesn't believe in him. Where he sometimes he goes into like a fake chick's voice
Yeah.
that's
Her
like
nails
bitchy
art
and annoying. And that could be Joanne talking shit to him, trying to hold him down.
It could be a combination of his ex-wife and his mom.
Right.
And his mom's name is Jan.
Close enough.
Joanne. And he could, all of the big blustery women that have always overshadowed him and never allowed him to be his own person.
Yeah.
Whew, that's powerful.
And because look, dude, everybody's talking about, empowering women and, female empowerment. He could go the opposite. He could go full Al Bundy.
Yeah.
And just be like, no, ma'am. Like,
yeah,
I'm not taking it. These women aren't holding back this middle-aged white guy any longer.
That's big, bro. That's going to strike a nerve.
Because, like, there's a lot of people. I'm not one of them, but there's a lot of people that could maybe,
identify.
get around that.
How about that group of people that are like pissed off because they can't get laid?
Oh, the incels.
Incels.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
I think he
dude,
might
like-
be an incel too.
You know what? He's
Unknowingly, yes.
Unknowingly. He's not in the sense that he never espouses any kind of violence towards women at all in any way.
Okay.
But you do catch him thinking some weird shit sometimes. There's some, I don't think I can really, nothing bad, but just, for instance, like sometimes he thinks that.
Kind of like talking like Bono every now and then when you look.
And when we were, one time we were talking about what women like in men, and he definitely let me know that he lets his long fingers kind of like show, because in his mind he feels like women, when they see his big long fingers, are gonna want to be finger banged by him or something like that. Like it's an enticement because they're so long. Yeah,
I mean that's clear thinking, and
it's clear that he's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Or and I don't know. I mean, every guy's got, a lot of different guys have a weird theory about women, that they might like something that maybe they don't necessarily like. I could think of some things.
Yeah.
What, Sean? You about to say so?
One of our friends, the Donkey Punch.
Who is that? Who?
One of our friends was talking about donkey punching.
Cheech? Sean never likes to say the name. Yeah, we had a buddy way back when. Nobody knows he's Cheech.
That's true.
And yeah, this guy was. How did that donkey
I don't
punch?
remember.
He was serious about it though. He said that like his chick likes it when he punches her in the back of the head, and then she goes crazy, and he holds on tight.
She tightens up.
Yeah, and this is one of those guys where you're like, you don't even argue with him. You're just like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Whatever you're talking about, bro, that's just crazy. Any guy that would voluntarily go by the name Cheech and he's not Latin, right? You got to kind of take with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
He was always bragging about women from Florida that he was flying out to fuck when they turned 18, but no one ever saw these chicks. It's one of those deals.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I think, look, we just have to come up with a plan for King Salmon.
Yeah.
And I think that we should try to get him sponsored by Skechers Shape Ups and and gas station boner pills.
Oh, dude.
Yep.
If you come out the game and those are your two biggest sponsors, even if we just lie and say he's sponsored by them,
for sure.
And KY gel.
Yeah.
Listen,
or like Kirkland brand.
Lee jeans.
The funny thing is that he went through a huge Sketcher phase for a long time. He was wearing white Skechers, and all of his socks are Kirkland signature.
Right.
socks.
No, and a lot of his clothes is all bought kind of at
TJ Maxx.
Like Mervyn's or Rite Aid. You can tell, I seen him with some shoes in there. I seen him with shoes that you can either only get at Ralph's or at, you know what I mean? Limited time. They got those,
like if
a
they
medium or large or extra large. So they're fucking, I seen him rocking some of those.
Where it's if they touch any water, it just falls apart. Yeah.
Like shoes that were only reserved for your dad to mow the lawn.
Yeah.
All right. So where do people go to see what you're doing? Brag about whatever.
I mean, I'm horrible at self-promotion, but I try to put stuff up on. I have a website at DarrenFuckingCraig.com, and that's got stuff on it. But a lot of times, I always forget to post this shit once it comes out.
Dude,
because a lot of times I can't post anything until the artist or whoever puts it out and all that shit. So
I just want to say, I just went to your website and it's fucking dope. You got reels there with every star that anyone would ever recognize. But honestly, a lot of his photographs are amazing. I love him. And he does shit on his own where he's not even getting paid for. If you're lucky enough to be an Instagram friend of his or whatever, you see some shit that he posts. His kids, I think your daughter was doing some art stuff that was some photography things, and she was doing something that you said made you proud. What was that?
Yeah, she was in some photo club, and she's scary good at it. And that's not, I'm not just being a dad. I like criticizing kids, to be honest. So I wouldn't just make it up. She's actually really, really good. So, so I'm trying to push that, but without her knowing I'm pushing it, because my kids think everything I do sucks and is embarrassing. And so as soon as I start trying to push on them, they're going to be she's going to be an accountant or something. So I have to do it in secret.
So
make them think it's their own idea.
So Darren Craig, DarrenCraig. You can go on Vivo or YouTube, see all of his reels. Millions.
Yeah, there's stuff on there.
Millions of views. He tried to explain to his mom, that's kind of that shows that I'm advancing, that I've got millions of views, and his mom's like, huh? What? Whatever. But the thing that I like the most is that you made that video with that crazy eyeball pastor.
Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah, you made a dope ass video.
I remixed his rant about how he can cure COVID by blowing on it.
Yeah.
With the wind of God.
Yeah.
And then I just remixed it, and then I put it on the internet, and for some reason, a lot of Jesus people didn't understand that I was trolling them.
Right.
Or and it took off. It got, dude, I think last time I looked, it was a total over 6 million views. And that's funny to me because there's no big artist behind it. There's no marketing, it's just me being an idiot and like screwing around. And even my kids, when I was making the song, my kids were so annoyed. They were like, will you shut up and like get some headphones? Like, it was so dumb. And I was like, it's funny to me. And I put it on the internet, and then it went crazy.
Yeah.
And
First Baptist in Louisiana is trying to get Darren Craig to go out there and do some preaching because they don't realize he's making fun of it. They think he's serious.
I wish I could. Like a large part of my career, I feel, has been. I probably owe it to them because I have spent a large part of my career poking fun at, Christianity and religion, that I probably owe them something at this point.
Right. Well, having said all that, Steve, you got anything to plug?
I want to plug Supermax hardware. www.supermaxhardware.com. Got some sales going on for Christmas time. Check that out. Keep your eyes open for H2K. Hard to Kill. Shout out to the Soul Assassins, to the Cookies family, Vibes. And that's what I got right now.
All right.
Enzo's Pizzeria.
Enzo's. Oh, Blue Eyes.
Sean at hardluckshow.com.
Hey, you guys remind me next time to talk about the DEA agent that I talked to. I've got a whole thing set up now where I'm going to be meeting with this DEA agent and talking about everything that went down with Kiki Camarena. And I'm going to his place, and we're bringing mobile recording equipment. We're going to have a campfire, guns, tequila, everything. It's going to be a fucking blowout.
You got to be careful, right?
Man, you're talking to me. Of course I am. I survived a lot of shit. And I want to thank Darren. Had no idea it was going to go this long, but you got a lot of material. Also, look for King Salmon, the rapper.
Salmon.
And Salmon agreed to 50-50. I told him, I said, if this dude can Gary Busey you, he doesn't want to do it for nothing. You got to make him an equal partner. He's like, fuck, dude, whatever I got to do.
Dude, I'll do it. I'll suck him off.
Yeah, that's what he said. He'll suck
I want
you off.
half of that pressure washer.
There's a story associated with that pressure washer. Isn't there, Sean?
Yes.
And we want to. This story is going to blow your mind.
Story.
But this story is going to blow your mind. And I think for the right price, I think if we went on a Kickstarter or GoFundMe and said King Salmon will tell the pressure washer story, and he'll sit in this studio and he'll take all the shit. We'll have Darren, Lepke, everyone here to hear it. He's got to face the music. He wants to survive by the music. He's got to face the music.
I think it's
all we need to do is have a conversation with him about being his true self and pushing, not being ashamed of anything that he's ever done,
including this situation with the high pressure.
Including the situation.
Yeah, full confession. Look for that.
I'll tell him how I've gone into that situation willingly.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, me too.
I'll be honest with you. I got a soft spot in my heart. I would like to raise some money for him to at least come in. If he's gonna face the music, I'll figure out how to raise some money for that guy.
I'll throw him $20 if he's gonna.
If we should, especially in these times right now, no better cause than to get him money.
Yes.
Yes. That's true. That's the best use of the money.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
fellas. Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, we hope you come back.
Thank you, Darren Craig.
Yeah, Darren Craig.
We'll talk soon.
Like we do about this time. We say adios, amigos, from the Hard Luck Show.
Damn, this track is on my nuts, just like your bitch, she wish she was.
On my nuts,
step into a club,
baby, walk right in. Give another DJ, cause I love the way she spins. Listen to the waves to the middle of the flow. And out the back door. Shaking off these bumpers, cause I got no time for games. Hop up in the truth, and then I'm back up to the range. This is on a daily, so we do it all again. Keeping up with us is just enough to fuck your brain. Whoa.